Crowded places, feel it sinking in. Lonely faces, say you need a friend. No matter the distance, I will always be there. No more inhibition, I'll show you I care. You've been lost and alone in the city of lights, I know. Getting high, feeling low, and it's out of your control. You should know that I won't leave you. I'll stay beside you. I'm never letting you go. You've been lost and alone in the city of lights, I know. But I will guide you home. But I will guide you home. But I will guide you home. Fight your battles, always by yourself. In the shadows, hear you cry for help. No matter the distance, I will always be there. No more inhibitions, I'll show you I care. You've been lost and alone in the city of lights, I know. Getting high, feeling low, and it's out of your control. You should know that I won't leave you. I'll stay beside you. I'm never letting you go. You've been lost and
front. Now we're going to see a little four-wide action.
Crazy out of the triangle.
Oh, he gets forward in the lead on the record.
3x3 entering 4.
3-2. At the flag stand, side by side, it's going to be Jason Maines winning it at Talladega. Hello everybody and welcome into the Blue Ridge Auto Group NOMA Gen 6 Series live from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And get ready to wrap up the season tonight, and boy did they pick a good track to do it on. Thank you all so much for tuning in. You are watching Austin Green on Ghost Racing Network. Good to be back. Let's get right down trackside as these guys get ready to roll and get right into your starting grid here on the night. Taking pole position for the final race of the season, it's going to go to Joey Hickox. Says he loves this track, and he's proven why early as he puts down a 30 flat. Good lap time there for the number 3 machine. Justin Palm will roll off second to his outside. Wiley Cantrell back in third with his teammate Clay Cantrell to his outside in fourth. It's going to be Zach Stevens and Kenneth Redinger making up row number 3. Jay Stinson back in seventh with Matthew Fritz, his teammate, on his outside in eighth. Grant Turner ninth and Bradley King rounding out your top 10. Looking back to row number 6, it's going to be Randy Bonomi in 11th and Chase Greer. He rounds out the field in that 12th position. And, looking at that field, again, maybe a little bit of a smaller field. I guess the biggest story, though, coming into tonight is that, how about Kenneth Redinger? He's already locked up the championship. We're not going to call it official just yet. But looking at everything we have, and according to all the admins, from what we've heard from them as well, does look like the number 24, well, actually this season, he has been dominant. So it's not really, doesn't come as a surprise, but sure enough, Kenneth Redinger looking like he will be crowned the champion of the NOMA Gen 6 Series. Here's a look, though, at the race info breakdown for tonight. It's the Blue Ridge Auto Group 150. Again, in the Gen 6 cars here tonight. 100 laps the distance, 65% fuel, 5 sets of tires, 1 fast pair as always, along with fixed setups, and 3 green-white checkers if we need them. Las Vegas Motor Speedway, 1.52 miles in length. One of the fastest mile-and-a-halfs you will see on the schedule, at least as for this season. 72 degrees starting track temp. Clear skies, winds at 2 miles an hour, 72 degrees outside, and 10% humidity. Beautiful night to go racing here in the sim. And a beautiful night to crown our final winner here of the NOMA Gen 6 Series. All right, here we go. Pace car working its way through turn number 4. We're going to make the hard left turn for the first time tonight. Final time on the restart of a season. Here we go. The Blue Ridge Auto Group 150. Sin City style. Here we go. Time to roll the dice at Las Vegas. Joey Hickox, Justin Parham rolling to the restart zone. Green flag is in the air for the final time in the NOMA Gen 6 Series. Right off into turn 1, Joey Hickox quickly looking to be assertive, at least on the inside. But right now, Justin Parham might get a little bit of a push from Clay Cantrell here as they work down the back straightaway. Sure enough, that's exactly what's going to happen. Now, we know in a lot of the other series, trucks, Xfinity, Next Gen, this track, you will stay in these big packs for quite a while. The big question coming into tonight was, how were these cars going to fare here? Was it going to be a lot of drafting? Was there going to be a lot of passing? Was it going to be a lot of single file? Right now, I think we've got our answer. How about Justin Parham with the power move on the outside? And as they dive down into turn 1, you see all the cars throwing up sparks right now. Those tires still trying to get up to pressure just a little bit. You'll see that trend throughout the night. And, Las Vegas, it's not that smooth of a track. In fact, we'll hop on board here with your current leader, Justin Parham. And I think he's just about wide open right now. There you see it, down to just about 180 miles per hour. Down into the corners. Ooh, caution is out. We got trouble here. Couple in the grass, more contact on the outside wall here on the front stretch. That's Wiley Cantrell in the 4 car. And you saw Matthew Fritz. Man, Wiley is destroyed. He hit something hard. My goodness. Big damage early. This will be that one fast repair right out of the gate, rather. Man, you got to wonder what went so wrong. I mean, we saw a couple going through the grass. This collected quite a few, including your pole sitter, Joey Hickox. And we were riding on board on the outside, so we couldn't actually see it as it happened live. But this is indeed going to start with Joey. Let's see, does he get a little loose here, or does he get some help? That's Wiley Cantrell in the 4 just behind. Now we need to get a little bit of a better look here. We're going to try TV2 for starters. Play it nice and slow for you. You see again, the 4 of Wiley Cantrell, that green Mountain Dew car. On the outside, Joey Hickox just in front. I think Joey was starting to get loose. Yeah, you see him drive down the track. Wiley misses him initially, has to check up, and then Stevens taps him in the back. That gets him down into Joey Hickox. Oh my goodness, what a hit for Joey Hickox, up and into the catch fence. Lands back on all 4, destroys that car along with Wiley Cantrell. And I don't know how that thing was even still rolling after it landed. Wow, that was brutal. Let's take a couple different looks at this one here. This is full speed. Big hit for Joey there. And I think a good onboard view would probably do justice here to see, did he just get loose? I got to think that's what it is. And, cold tires, it's a fast track. It's still a possibility, yeah. The back end actually comes around on him here pretty early, right as he gets into the corner. And as soon as it does, he's going to straighten it, overcorrects back to the left. Now it's getting loose trying to catch it. He does save it, but unfortunately the stack up out back just amplified too much and nothing that a lot of these guys could do. Here's a different angle from the blimp cam. Show you exactly what this looked like from out back. Again, playing it slow. And you see the 4 checks up. Stevens, he's got a full head of steam. There's not much he can do here. Wiley does a great job. Actually keeps it off of him. Doesn't make contact until right here, where he kind of gets propelled down there. And then you see Jay Stinson. He's going to jump to the inside here and hopes to miss it. Grant Turner, Zach Stevens, nowhere to go. They pile in on the outside. And there you see the 17. A little bit further back of Bradley King and Matthew Fritz. They get together, and they're going to go sliding through the grass here. Don't think there was any damage to that 29 machine. And then there you see another hit on the outside wall for Wiley Cantrell. So a big wreck to kick things off here tonight in the Blue Ridge Auto Group 150. Going to shake some things up, especially in terms of the amount of big hitters that had to use their fast pairs in that wreck. But how about up front now? Justin Parham showed a lot of might on that outside. No surprise that he's choosing that lane again here for this first restart on the night. And then you've got Clay Cantrell back in second. Going even further back, Kenneth Redinger in third, Jay Stinson fourth, Randy Bonomi in fifth, Bradley King back in sixth, Chase Greer seventh, Zach Stevens eighth. Rounding out your top 10 is Matthew Fritz and Zach Stevens. Joey Hickox, by the way, just now rolling out of the pits, and you'll notice on the scoring tower here, 2 laps down. So for any of the Venom Racing drivers, unfortunate news there for Joey Hickox, but, you know, we'll see what happens here. He's got still plenty of time, but he's definitely going to need a couple cautions. Remember, there's no scheduled stage breaks, no scheduled competition cautions, so if this thing goes green, which it might here if we can get about 10 laps under our belt, get everybody in a rhythm, Joey Hickox might be in some trouble. All right, here we go. Pace car making the left turn for the second time tonight. He was out a little bit earlier than he was expecting, but just as quickly pulls it back down to the pits. So here we go. Clay Cantrell, first time on the front row here tonight. Parham, no stranger, and he's going to take full advantage. The green flag flies. The 9 gets a great restart. He'll pull out to about a 3 to 4 car length lead as they dive down into turn number 1. And Joey Hickox, who tried to catch the field, did he get there? Yeah, he did. He got just to the back bumper of Wiley Cantrell. But up front, Parham on the outside doesn't have any aero pushing. Notice what we're seeing on this restart from last restart, and that is a lot of disorganization. Not 2x2 coming down the back stretch that time. However, Clay Cantrell once more, he's going to take a look down to the inside here pretty quickly. And what a move. Just like a little bit of a slide job there. He got cleared, didn't take it though. And now that's going to put him side by side with the SPINO Racing teammates, as you see Kenneth Redinger now working his way up into the picture. And so 2 lanes working, sparks flying from both. Just as we were getting ready to talk about this track, we'll go back on board here. This time, go back a lane here with Kenneth Redinger. He runs in the draft of his teammate. Now, wondering on if anybody took tires, I wouldn't think you could afford to yet. It's too hard of a call. I just don't think it was the right strategy. I mean, you can actually take a look here. I'll have more info for you on that in just a minute. Yeah, no, it looks like just the cars that had damage took it down to the pits. So these guys on a couple lap old tires, but I mean the speeds at Vegas are what really make your eyes go big. 100 and almost 90 miles an hour down the front and back straightaway. And it's still sitting at the lowest speed of about 180 down in the corners. And those are the speeds we normally associate with super speedways, not mile and a halves, but that's the beauty here of Vegas. And right now, you see Redinger is doing a lot of work as he takes a look to the inside of his teammate here, Justin Parham. But as we go back a row for Clay Cantrell, who can't see that much where he is, he's choosing the top lane. You see him get loose onto the corner, but look at all the sparks flying. You see the car bouncing around a little bit. That is that front splitter hitting the racetrack. And again, very abrasive. Won't affect these cars too much, but you catch it in a bad spot, it could certainly get you out of shape in a hurry, as we've already seen a couple times tonight with that early caution for Joey Hickox. Taking a quick look at the chat, who we've got in here tonight. Nancy Hickox says, hey, Austin, the big finale, Kenneth Redinger will be the NOMA Gen 6 winner, but which team will get the team win? That's a good question, Nancy. We will be talking about that here in just a little bit. Raymond Daniels Sr. says, see you soon. Nancy Hickox says, that's my boy, always wanting attention. Yeah, he certainly got some of that, but good to see you guys out here tonight. Hope you're all enjoying your Thursday night. Justin Parham leading this group of 3 that's rocking the outside now. A little bit of an interesting shift. They were all kind of moving around, trying to find which lane they like best, and Clay Cantrell's still doing that, but Redinger showing a lot of poise right here as he just kind of sits behind his teammate, kind of stalking in the footprints, if you will, but doesn't want to make a move. There's no reason to. He knows they're pretty close on speed. He knows that if he gets around, it's just going to be the same look that he's got right now. And while that clean air will be important later in the run, while these tires are still relatively fresh, you can get away with doing this. And all he's trying to do right now is hold off that 88 machine. See if he can't continue to push him and Parham maybe to a little bit of a breathing gap away from that 88 and the 31 now of Jay Stinson, who, by the way, is up 3 positions from where he started before they start battling each other. Chase Greer Another one of the Venom Racing drivers. Had a pretty good season overall. Ooh, hold your horses here. Turner's going to go around. Grant Turner in the 39. Does he save it? He tried to. Not going to save it. Back to the inside wall. Stevens gets tagged. Into the concrete wall he goes. Caution is out. Second one of the night. And boy, Grant tried and tried and tried, but he just could not quite hold on there at the end. We're just taking a look a little bit ahead of Grant, and things seem fine, but back there it certainly seemed like things may have started to get a little bit dicey, and it's a racing you're going to get sometimes here at a track like Las Vegas. So we'll go back and take a look in just a minute here. I do believe that we're probably going to see a pretty good amount of pit stops here. I think this is the first stop that you come in, you take 4 tires filled up with gas. But sometimes these early cautions can give you some insight onto maybe what to expect by the end of this race, and that, for all we know, at least as of right now, could be a couple late cautions. So we'll have to see how this thing goes for the rest of the way. See if Parr makes the hard left turn here just in front of his teammate Kenneth Redinger, Clay Cantrell, Jay Stinson. Do any of them decide to stay out here? No, everybody's going to bring it down to the pits. No real surprise here. And so it'll be the first stop of the night under caution. 4 tires and fuel going to be the choices for just about everyone as we now flash back to that last caution here. Let's take a look at where things all went wrong here. And again, this was Grant Turner and Zach Stevens, the 2 victims when it was all said and done, but it started with Grant Turner and Randy Bonomi. So we're going to go to the blimp cam first. Actually, I take that back. We'll go to a little bit of a different aerial angle for it. And so here you go. You got Randy Bonomi on the inside. Not quite there yet. Turner in the middle. And then the 17 of Bradley King up top. We're going to play this full speed first. And Turner starts taking a peek to the inside. Jumps down. Bonomi says, I'm going to go a lane lower. And that gap just kind of all of a sudden closes off right as the 66 starts to get there. Grant Turner thinking maybe he could get that block down just a little bit sooner. There may have been even a little bit of a side draft. Point is, they ran out of room, and once they did, you see 66 Bonomi getting to the left rear of Grant Turner. That turns him around. It's going to send him back up the track. Now, he almost saves this thing. This was impressive, but then finally, as he locks it down, knows that he's committed to going to the inside wall, so he just decides to lock it down, hoping that maybe he can get it slowed down enough or stopped before he gets there. And unfortunately for Zach Stevens, catches himself right in the mix of this. Nothing he could do. And in fact, we'll go to the onboard view here. Sees the 39 coming down, but similar to a deer in the headlights, just nothing you can really do, and then gets hit again for good measure just after. Give you a couple different angles of this one here. Back to Grant Turner on this TV. Here's a look from TV1. And we didn't have him up at the moment, but he is carrying a driver cam for us tonight, and I can tell you his eye is lit up. And he first got turned around there and almost saved it, but that's going to do some damage. You see there to the left front, left side of Grant Turner, and a pretty significant amount of damage to the front and right front of Zach Stevens. So as they go in and work on those cars, try to get them repaired, we get ready for yet another restart here tonight. Second one in only 15 laps. Puts us at a caution, and about 7.5, make it 8 as we cross the line, this time laps. And so Justin Parham still leading the way. Kenneth Redinger, though, now first time he will start on the front row here tonight as he'll roll off second. Clay Cantrell back in third. Jay Stinson in fourth. Chase Greer still hanging around that top 5, currently rounding it out, in fact. You got Bradley King back in 6th, up 4 from where he started. Randy Bonomi in 7th. Matthew Fritz 8th. Wiley Cantrell in 9th. And Grant Turner running out your top 10. Zach Stevens 11th. And Joey Hickox. That's good news for him because now he is only 1 lap down. So still needs 1 more caution. I'm telling you, if he could get it, Joey would be a big threat to potentially get a win here later tonight. But you got to be on the lead lap to have a chance at it. And again, he is going to need 1 more caution for that to be the case. So with 16 laps complete and looking at the general fuel window, we don't have a great idea. 65% fuel, if I had to guess, maybe reckon maybe somewhere around the 40s. Right around the lap 40 mark. We'll call it 35 to 45 to start and see just how close or far that margin is. The point is, I think you're definitely going to see at least 1 stop, but probably still on schedule for potentially 2 more stops. Although, I mean, if they can make it 40 from here, right around 40, maybe even a couple more, then this really only would be a 1 stop. So we'll see what fuel strategy these guys all have in mind. But if you're Parham and Redinger, you're not thinking about fuel right now. You're thinking about how fast those 2 cars have been for SPINO Racing all season. And here tonight, they've looked good early. Think about how you can pull away. And by the way, Justin Parham, I'm just as surprised as you are for me to be saying this, but he has not captured himself a win yet this season. Still looking for that first one. Maybe tonight's his night. We'll have to find out. The number 9 machine can get it done. Clay Cantrell with 2. Kenneth Redinger with 2. The only other guy on the season with 1 is John Lynch, who we don't see in here tonight. And, of course, Zach Stevens, who's at the back of the pack now. He's got himself 2 wins on the season, and looks like he has chosen actually to not take that fast spray yet. Interesting choice. And you can still see that right front damage is still imminent. Unless he had to use his fast spray on that first wreck. Oh, he actually, I bet you he did. I had forgot about when he plowed in there. That was pretty hard contact. So that's a tough break for Stevens. That actually might bring his night to an end here early. That damage, not sure if he'll be able to recover. Here we go, though, back up front. The virtual fans back on their feet. Ready to try to spin the slot machine here again in Las Vegas. Back into the restart zone we go. Green flag is back into the air through the gears, and so far so good for Parham, who immediately is able to get clear, and he'll jump up to the outside before they even cross the start-finish line. Redinger is going to get settled into second here. We'll see now that it's fresher tires and a little bit of a different restart here. How aggressive does he get on his teammate? Does he try to make a pass, or does he do the same strategy they did last time and just try to kind of ride for now, see if they can create some distance between themselves and the rest of the field? Clay Cantrell already working the bottom. Jay Stinson up top. Everybody just about full throttle right now. This is where you'll see the top speeds all night. And speaking of top speeds, course 72-degree track temp, nice and cool, is part of the reason we're seeing these fast track times that we're seeing right now. And this will continue as the night continues to progress on. And so you got Justin Parham followed by Kenneth Redinger, but Clay Cantrell, he's there. Does he take a peek here into turn number 3? He doesn't. But boy, he was right on the rear bumper of Kenneth Redinger there as they worked their way into turn 3. He fades off a little bit through the turns, and then as he gets down the front here, notice that Jay Stinson sits just behind him. Those two maybe do a little working together here. I would say Chevy versus another manufacturer kind of thing, but I think the entire field here is Chevys tonight. Look at Zach Stevens, even with the damage, roaring back strong on the bottom. The only thing that worries me for that 33 machine is that with that damage that he's got, it'll still be fast here on new tires, but when the downforce really starts to matter as tires wear out, that's where he's going to start to really lose this group. So fighting for whatever he can right now, getting as far up in this draft as possible. And he currently sits behind the 66 of Randy Bonomi. Justin Parham and Kenneth Redinger still leading. Clay Cantrell he's content on staying where he's at, it seems like, and he's going to have to be because now Matthew Fritz is back to the bottom with Joey Hickox, and I like what Joey's doing here. He did have to use the fast spare after that hard hit he had on lap 1, but not showing any signs of backing down. In fact, he's going to try to go get his lap back the hard way right here. That way, if we were to get another caution, there'd be no question about it. He would be guaranteed to get that lap back, and again, he doesn't have to fight with anyone for it, at least in terms of getting the lucky dog right now, as he is the only car that is not on the lead lap out of the 12 cars that we had start this race. Ooh, Stinson slipping up a little bit further back. They're going to split him 3 wide, maybe no. Chase Greer, his teammate, is going to cut him a break as they race down the Neal straightaway. 3 wide, or what looked like 3 wide for just a moment, quickly settles back down to 2 by 2. Man, Redinger looking like Daytona out here. In fact, you already see some of the dents and scrapes accumulating on the front bumper of his Chevy Camaro, and that's just from all the pushing he's done. A lot of people don't realize just because we're not at a super speedway doesn't mean you can't do some pushing it. That's what we're seeing actually on the bottom lane too. That's about Matthew Fritz to the lead down the back stretch. Joey Hickox going to try to follow his teammate, but they did a little bump draft, and oh man, Parham's getting all out of shape. The 9 really slipping and sliding up top. His teammate has no choice but to split him. And they're going to go 3 wide down the curved front straightaway. Clay Cantrell picks up another spot with Redinger. Bonomi on the bottom with Stevens. Matthew Fritz still down there all by himself. He's got the cleanest air in whatever lane he wants he can have, but he's got to watch out here. Here comes his teammate Joey Hickox up top. And now again, that's not for position, but you certainly don't want to get yourself trapped on the bottom at a certain point. And maybe you do actually. I wonder what lane's going to roll better here on the old tires. You would suspect that it would be the bottom, but never been here in these cars, or at least on a broadcast that I've seen. So everybody's still getting a feel for him as Joey's now going to dive to the bottom. Redinger got him clear and didn't want him staying up any longer. Made sure to push him right down the track. And so now Joey and Fritz are back to where they started in terms of getting to the front, but only this time swapped. You got Joey leading the 29 in second, and then on the outside, Clay Cantrell, who's been aggressive and a contender all night, Still trying to see what he can do with the 24. Parham recovering nicely as he starts to make his way back up towards the front now. And so Redinger is up 5 from where he started. Matthew Fritz is up 5. Your biggest mover, though, now is Randy Bonomi, who is up 6. And then Chase Greer has fallen a couple on this restart. He is still up 5, though, overall, as we have now completed a quarter of this final race of the season. And so Joey Hickox and Kenneth Redinger, they're going to stay side by side like this for, honestly, probably another 10 to 15 laps at least. But every lap that goes by, just know those tires are wearing out more and more, and the harder you run them, the more you're going to burn, and they will matter late in this run. I can promise you that. So let's take a listen here to Matthew Fritz through the corner. Yeah, you hear him slide those front, that right front especially right now, and the right rear. So this thing's going to definitely start to become a handful here, probably about 15 to 20 laps, and it will get more single file. That's where the question of who saved the most tire comes in and who can handle those cars the best. It's interesting to see what they'll do if they'll swap the front end, the rear end. Just kind of depends. I mean, you would think on a track that's this cool with this much grip, you maybe wouldn't have to worry too much about getting tight. Again, these cars are a little bit more horsepower than what the next gens had. So don't be surprised if we start to see the back end slipping around on these cars more than they've already been here tonight as the tires start to wear out. But looking at that green flag pit stop window, again, we guessed maybe around 40 to 45 laps. That's going to be my first and best guess for now. And so with that, I think we should be expecting that next stop maybe right around 60, lap 60-ish, give or take a few. And if guys can make it that far, then it would indeed be a one-stop race. But right now, you got to be fighting for track position, and Cantrell's in the wall. He was trying to push it, getting everything he could behind Kenneth Redinger, pushed just a little bit too hard, and when you break that cushion, it is not very forgiving. The 88, though, able to recover pretty easily there. He does lose a couple spots, but he's going to work his way back to the middle. He's fighting for every inch of clean air that he can get right now. And Cantrell, this is almost contrary to what we've seen him do all season, especially in the 2 wins that he got where he looked very poised and like he was trying to save tire. But tonight, he looks like a bear let out of a cage. Right now, he is trying everything to claw his way to the front. You see now, he's still watching those 2 Spino Racing teammates, not teammates of his, but teammates of each other in front, trying to figure out what he can do here. Does he need to go low? Does he need to go high? Looks like he's going to try the low side this time of Justin Parham, just getting way too tight up there. So get your notebooks out. Right now, what we're seeing is that top lane seems to be the favorite place to be. As you see Parham right there, actually has to check up a little bit, bail out of the throttle actually through the tri-oval. Sure, that's just how loose these cars are starting to get, but man, you see Redinger skewing all the way out to the right there through the turn. These things are definitely going to become a struggle here as this run continues on, but Parham trying to stay in the draft of his teammate, maybe help wear those front tires out a little bit more than the rears, get more tight than he does loose. As they cross the stripe here, 31 laps complete, and the top 3 still all pretty much bumper to bumper, and you can honestly right now throw your top 8 all under a blanket. They sit within a second of your leader. Grant Turner's had a pretty nice recovery up to this point after getting in that second caution of the night. And take a look, there is Grant, again, one of the guys that's carrying a driver cam for us here on the night. Driver out of Akron, Ohio, came so close this season to a couple wins. Felt like you probably heard me saying that a handful of times, but things just had not quite panned out. But tonight he's got another shot at it. We'll see what he can do, and he's still got just under 70 laps to get to the front, but that traffic proving to be no easy task to maneuver around here tonight. And so now you're starting to see what was that long gridlock of a 2x2, or excuse me, of 2x2 racing has now continued to single file out more and more. You got a couple of stragglers experimenting with the bottom still. Clay Cantrell, Randy Bonomi notably. But Chase Greer, who's stayed committed up top, I think he's been saving some tire, as maybe a couple other guys have out back, and it is starting to show, and it's starting to pay off now as they continue to catch this group. Zach Stevens has unfortunately fallen back a bit and starting to kind of work his way into that danger zone of falling off the lead draft. You hope that he's maybe just saving some tire, but you still worry that maybe this is, as those tires are wearing out, that damage that we saw him receive from that last wreck starting to show its true colors, is maybe not able to quite hold as much speed down the straightaways anymore, especially not in the turns. And the 24 of Redinger still holding the lead on his teammate Justin Parham. And notice kind of what they do in the corners here. Parham ducks about a half a lane to a lane lower each time, and that's just him trying to get some clean air on the nose. Remember that when you get right up to the car behind, or the car in front of you, it's helpful on the straightaways. You can give them a push, boost both of your speeds, but in the corner, all that turbulent air can reduce the downforce on the nose of the car behind. So Parham wants to make sure that he can get his nose in that clean air and stick right by his teammate while still being able to defend behind. And Joey Hickox, he's back, and he wants to see if he can get this lap back this time by trying a little bit of a different lane, working the outside lane of what Parham's got. Matthew Fritz just behind him. Chase Greer makes that Venom trio that much stronger. And then Grant Turner followed by Jay Stinson, Clay Cantrell, Randy Bonomi, and then Bradley King and Zach Stevens still rounding out your top 10. Wiley Cantrell Jr. back in that 11th spot. A good qualifying effort, a good start to the race. Unfortunately, though, after getting caught up in that first wreck, had to use his fast repair. I think he's decided to be conservative ever since, and he's probably another one of those guys that's just waiting to see if we can get to this first pit stop. But so far, haven't been able to do so. Parham's going to take a peek to the inside. You actually saw there Joey Hickox with a brilliant move. Was able to get clear, but Parham having none of it. He wants that spot back. He's trying the slide job. He's not going to be able to complete it. Joey Hickox holds strong on the outside. Now he's got to run on the leader, Kenneth Redinger. Redinger not going to fight him too hard. He knows that Joey is not for position, just trying to go get his lap back. So as the 24 lets the 3 by, at least for the moment, Joey Hickox is now officially on the lead lap. Still would need a caution, as I just don't see any way that he's going to find almost 31 seconds on the leader here in the next about 60, 64 laps that we have left. But man, getting really aggressive right there. He almost got into the left rear of Kenneth Redinger, had to bail out of the throttle. That causes a massive stack up for him and Justin Parham. Parham probably not going to be too happy with that, but Joey, I mean, doing everything he's got to do here to try to get that lap back. It looked for a moment like he was starting to see the light of day and had him cleared, but then all of a sudden, Kenneth Redinger put the throttle right back down and took the lead back away on the outside. Now Matthew Fritz is going to try his luck, and boy, he is ripping the top. Talk about gambling, that's exactly what he's doing. If he misses that line even by an inch, he's going to go into the outside wall. Let's take a look here on the right front, show you just what it looks like for Matthew Fritz. And so Redinger running that lower lane. Fritz gets right up here, about half a car length off from the wall, and almost diamonds it down. And that approach is working really well for him. He's caught a 10th or two in just the last couple laps after the hiccup from Joey Hickox. And now he is right on the bumper of your leader. Now, if Redinger jumps up and tries to take that lane away, Fritz is going to have to be careful, because that's when you might see him tag that outside wall. But he's got another run, and now he's going to take a look to the inside. Does he try the slide job here? He's got about a quarter of a car length advantage as they dive into the turn. Redinger, though, trying to roll the middle pretty good. He's doing just that, trying to put it on the door of Fritz, but Fritz with a chance to clear doesn't take it. He's going to stay low for now. Maybe he feels like the bottom is the place to be here until he can completely complete this pass. And so Redinger, though, not giving it up too easy, continues to fight on the outside. These two got to be careful. If they battle too hard, they're going to pull up a couple of these other guys into the mix. But as they cross the start-finish line, that time it was still Redinger. I am amazed at how long this outside lane has been fast. A lot of grip. Sometimes we see that during the day when it's hot and slick. Not so much at night. Usually the shortest way around is the quickest way around, but that has not been the case. A little bit of 2x2 action starting to form up out back as the battle for the lead resides for the moment. And this is Grant Turner alongside Jay Stinson. That's the battle for 5th. And then Chase Greer is trying to run away from Justin Parham. That was initially the battle for 4th. Make the battle for 3rd. And so a lot of guys still showing very similar speed, but you know who I want to give a shout out to here tonight? We've talked about him a couple times, but this guy right here, Bradley King, came into the season as a rookie. Haven't really seen him around until the NOMA Gen 6 series, but boy, has he been impressive. He's taken every race, learned what he can, and you've just seen the improvement each and every week. And tonight he's showing it in a big way with, Cantrell, hold on to it here. Is he going to make a pit stop? He is. I don't know if that was so much scheduled. I guess it may have been. Seems like a bit of an early stop for the 88, so we'll have to keep tabs on that. You see a little bit of damage, just a little bit on the front there, but that's just from pushing. Before we talk more about that, getting back to Bradley King, I mean, how about the run he's got going here tonight? Up 3 positions from where he started. He's in 7th, but I'm telling you, he looks like he's got a car to go up there and fight for a top 5, and that would be huge for a guy like this who all he needs is a little bit of a spark and Could seem really come to life here either next season if we have the NOMA Gen 6 series, or one of the other great NOMA series such as the Truck series, which is getting ready to start, or even the all-loved Super Speedway series. So Clay Cantrell goes a lap down as he actually got, it looks like he got that front end damage fixed. Whatever he had, I'm not sure if he had his fast spare on or what happened. Let's go back, wind this back a little bit, see if we can't take a look. Again, be really shocked to see him pit this early, but I mean, it wouldn't be out of character necessarily. So you go, coming down the backstretch, no issues here, it doesn't look like. Grant Turner on the bottom. Cantrell still on the top. He's going to take a look to the bottom. And yeah, no issues. That was a scheduled stop there for Cantrell, and did a really good job of getting in nice and clean. And then, did he take 4 tires here? It almost looked like he may have. And if he didn't, then you really got to wonder, what was he pitting for? So he rolls into his box. See him come around to jack up the right side. And they're going to come around and jack up the left side. So there you go. 4 tires and fuel to call for Clay Cantrell. Very, very early. Maybe he's got a different strategy in mind. Either they must have to pit 2 times, and Cantrell is trying everything he can to get new tires and try to undercut these guys, or maybe they could have a little bit of different strategy. A lot of these guys are going to try to make it and only have to pit 1 time. If that were to be the case, and they have to save too much, Cantrell might just be trying to go down, take 4 tires, and make up the time difference by being on offense the whole time. It'll be an interesting strategy. We'll have to see how that pans out for the 88 machine. Kenneth Redinger still up front. Matthew Fritz in second. Chase Greer back in third. Chase Stinson fourth, and Justin Parham rounding out your top 5. A long single file line, but still a big draft here at Vegas. We're going to take our first break of the night, but we will go side by side so you don't miss a thing. Stick with us. Front, now we're going to see a little 4-wide action.
Crazy out of the triangle.
Oh, he gets in the lead under record.
3 by 3 entering 4.
3 deep.
Blocked.
At the flag stand, side by side, it's going to be Jason Maines winning at Talladega. Welcome back to the Blue Ridge Auto Group 150, just in time for pit stops, and they're all being led in by your leader, Matthew Fritz, in the 29, followed by Chase Greer in the 8. Kenneth Redinger and Bradley King also bringing their Chevys down as well. And you saw all the action that we had going on there during break with the side-by-side, including the big battle between your leader there for a minute, Kenneth Redinger, and Matthew Fritz. Fritz eventually was able to get the best of Redinger. Chase Greer, his teammate, followed in suit. And what I noticed with Chase was, I believe he saved enough tire to put himself in that position, and he had a lot of long-run speed is what it was looking like there. And he's also going to win himself the race out of the pits here. Bradley King maybe with a mistake, not so good for him, but Greer leads him out, followed by Redinger, and then Fritz not too far behind either. And meanwhile, back up front here, a couple more pit stops for a couple of different guys. Jay Stinson, Randy Bonomi, Grant Turner, they have all made their pit stops as well. And so as we look to the front here, it is Zach Stevens, who's currently being scored as your leader, yet to make that pit stop. And then we're going to see another pit here, but Wiley Cantrell, who just made his way in. Zach Stevens, Joey Hickox, they're going to make their way into the pit lane now as well. And so coming in on lap 54, it's really, really close. I got to be honest, I'm not 100% sure on the exact number of laps. Again, we know they have 65% fuel, and it's hard to say. I mean, there's a lot of throttle time here, similar to what we see at Daytona and Talladega. Those tracks are a mile longer, and they can probably, on 65% fuel, they'd make it maybe somewhere around the 20s. So I'm still thinking that window is right between anywhere of 35 to 45 laps. And based off when we went back green to where we're seeing this stop now, shouldn't be too far off, maybe a little bit more on this less lap side. But about Clay Cantrell back out in front, Justin Parham in second. By the way, Cantrell is working his way off of turn number 4. Second place, Justin Parham is just now working his way into turn number 3, now out of turn number 4. So Cantrell still got a lot of breathing room at about just over, it looks like 6 seconds ahead of Justin Parham. But you got to wonder how quickly will this gap close, if at all. Good news for Cantrell is that he's got clean air. Oh, Grant Turner with a big moment right there. Not battling for position right there, but just looking to get that lap back so he can go start trying to work this position back. But wow, was that a close call. Turner almost lost it, and that would have been a big hit into the inside wall. What a save for Grant Turner. Clay Cantrell right now might be saying to himself, dude, you can have it, but please just move on. I do not want to get caught up in a wreck from the position I'm in. Turner going to continue to race him hard, though, off of turn number 2. The longer they stay side by side, the farther back Cantrell is going to fall. Looks like this time Turner is able to get clear as they go into turn number 3. And so he will take that spot back. No longer a lap down. That keeps Joey Hickox as the only car a lap down for the moment. He's really got to get a caution, though. And we're slowly but surely running out of time as we're just about 10 laps now over the halfway mark for this race. Taking a ride on board here out back of Jay Stinson. He's up 4 spots from where he started, and right now he's going side by side with Kenneth Redinger. Now the 24, the 8, and the 29, important to note that they are all on newer tires than this 31 machine, so that could certainly explain some of the reasoning behind this, and we'll see just how long Jay's able to hold on here. But he's getting some big help right now from his teammate Chase Greer, who's actually doing a little bump drafting down the front stretch for his teammate. Redinger right now beside himself, trying to figure out how he can get around these two. He's got better tires. He's got probably a faster car at the moment, but sometimes teamwork makes the dream work. That's exactly how it's going for Venom Racing at the moment. Stinson will take another peek to the inside. Redinger about a corner away here from getting clear if he can get a good exit. And Jay down the front stretch still holding even, and you see what he's doing right there. He's utilizing under that white line, which again you can do here at a track like Las Vegas. It's legal at just about every track except the super speedways we head to, including Talladega and Daytona. But yeah, you can go below that white line here at Las Vegas. It is still considered a part of the racing surface. And so as they go into turn 3, Redinger will have to settle for being side by side yet again. And now 61 laps complete. Cantrell is not looking too bad on the strategy call. I mean, Parham is definitely still catching, but you got to kind of look at the rate of how much he's catching up to when that next and final green flag pit stop is expected to be. And if you're Clay Cantrell, with the way the undercut strategy is looking, I think you got to undercut this next one too. Go in as soon as you feel like that fuel window is open. Again, that's if you have to pit. I believe Clay Cantrell will definitely have to, but not sure if a guy like Justin Parham, or honestly maybe focusing more on like Kenneth Redinger, Zach Stevens, if those guys will have to make another stop yet or not. And so let's actually go down here a little bit further in the field and keep an eye on this group here, which kind of mixing it up. Single file, double file. Chase Greer, Matthew Fritz trying to help keep their teammate up here. And just all trying to stay single file and catch the leaders. But all that racing they did has still kept them from getting within 5 seconds of Clay Cantrell at this point. Now, again, still plenty of time for the newer tires that they have. And you see they are definitely closing the gap. Now it's going to have it to just about under 6 seconds rather, as they dive down into turn number 1. Now taking a look again, we mentioned at the broadcast earlier that Kenneth Redinger, he's already locked up the points. There's no more questions there. He is going to be your Season 1 NOMA Gen 6 Series winner. There are, however, some questions on who's going to stay top 5 in points, and the bigger question, who is going to get the job done in terms of team points. So here we go again. Redinger already has locked up the championship unofficially, but don't see any way that changes. Zachary Stevens currently sitting in second in the points race. Chase Greer third. Justin Parham fourth. And Jay Stinson rounding out the top 5 in that mix. But here we go in terms of team points. After Texas, SPINO Racing still leads the total points count, 759. Venom Racing in second at 740. So that is really not that big of a difference. Again, it does not take much. A 19-point difference, especially when Venom Racing has more cars at the track here tonight. That could be all they need to potentially steal this team championship from SPINO Racing in the last race. Now remember, John Lynch, one of the SPINO guys, but not here tonight. Got a win earlier in the season, and they could certainly use him, but unfortunately was not able to make it tonight, it appears. And so you saw a couple slip-ups there, especially from Chase Greer. Not sure what happened, but he was able to gather himself back up, and they continue on nice and clean now. Another one of the bigger announcements that we have is Ghost Racing Network is excited to announce that we will be back with the NOMA Truck Series here starting this Saturday with the Clash at Daytona. Taking a look at the schedule for this season. Again, it is a good one. We hope to see everybody out, and can't wait to see some of the big field turnouts again for what NOMA, I believe, considers their most prestigious series, at least if you ask Joey. Runs right alongside the Super Speedway Series and one of the big sponsor series as well, of course, with Manny Rays, H&H Tractor, Flatwoods, Blue Ridge, who we saw, of course, sponsor the Gen 6 Series. But good to see Manny Rays and all the other partners coming back for another great season of truck racing action. But as said, this Saturday is going to be the Clash at Daytona. 50 laps, no stages, before the week after we head to Daytona for the season opener. That'll be 100 laps. The return of the stage breaks, and boy, is that going to be a fun one. The rest of the schedule goes as follows. After Daytona, we're going to head to Old Atlanta, followed up by Auto Club and then Indianapolis. Michigan next up on deck after that, followed by Talladega, Darlington, the Lady in Black, Pocono on May 4th, Kentucky on May 11th, and then Charlotte rounding out the regular season. The All-Star race is going to open up. Well, just before I get there, I guess I should say the All-Star race will be acting like a break between the regular season and the playoffs. The round of 16 is going to be Nashville Super Speedway and Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The round of 8 will be Chicagoland and Kansas. And the championship 4 are going to be making its return to Texas Motor Speedway. And boy, was that a great track. Good to see them going back there again. Those races will go green at 10:05 Eastern. All right, so folks, and back in on the action that we have on track right now. Clay Cantrell, the gap between him and second place Justin Parham, still sitting at about 2.7 seconds. Again, that does continue to close. Not quite as fast as I thought it was going to, but certainly if you're Cantrell here, you got to start thinking about what do you do if that 9 machine keeps tracking you down. And each lap that goes by, the tire fall off keeps getting greater and greater. In fact, we can take a look here. Cantrell in first to Justin Parham in second. There's a lap time difference. I mean, consistently the last 5 laps, anywhere from about 2 to 3/10 slower a lap is Clay Cantrell, and that's just the tire difference from when the 88 pit to when the number 9 pit. And so eventually here, Clay's going to have to come in for that final stop. Now, I should say that I believe they are within the window now to be good the rest of the way. 30 laps to go. So Cantrell honestly might just continue to stay out here and to a degree let Parham catch, and let him catch until he eventually gets to the rear bumper and then make that pit stop. I think that would be the best strategy call at the moment. Now, if you're Kenneth Redinger, you got some choices on your hands. You're still 3 seconds behind the leader Again, 30 laps to go. It's all he needs is about 0.3 of a second a lap, but still expecting one more pit stop here, at least from Clay Cantrell. Not 100% sure what we're going to see from Justin Parham and Kenneth Redinger, but expecting a pit stop. Most likely for the rest of the field here. If we weren't to have one, definitely Parham would be able to track down Cantrell, and I think Redinger would be right in that mix also. And so Jay Stinson, Chase Greer, Matthew Fritz, still all hanging around back 4th through 6th. And Stinson not actually faded as much as you thought with those older tires. Greer making the best of them. He is now just about under 3 seconds to the leader as Redinger sits at about 2.5. So all of a sudden now, the last couple laps, Cantrell has went from falling off to maybe a couple tenths to a few tenths a lap to now almost half a second or so a lap. So he's got to be careful here. Again, keep an eye on that mirror because that 9 car is getting bigger and bigger each lap that goes by. Let's see what strategy he's got in store. But if you're Justin Parham, what do you decide to do? Do you try to match the 88 or do you go a different route? Maybe pit a little bit sooner, a little bit later? It's going to be all up to him here, and we'll see which strategy becomes a winning strategy. There goes the 88 machine. Clay Cantrell, you see him down to the pits now. And so he felt like the 9 was getting close enough. So with 74, going to be 75 next time laps complete. He's going to bring it down for his final pit stop of the night. This will be 4 tires and fuel, and he'll get right back out there and try to start putting down some very fast laps. Again, that does hand the lead over to Justin Parham. His teammate, though, Kenneth Redinger, not too far behind. Ooh, a little bit of a mistake right there for Cantrell. We'll see how much that costs him here as Parham is going to come in the lap after. He does not want to let that same strategy catch him off guard again here. And now this is interesting because this time they're only going to have a lap fresher tires, including Kenneth Redinger, by the way, who brought it down. Looks like Chase Greer did as well. They're only going to have a lap fresher tires than your leader, Clay Cantrell. So I'm really interested to see how this works out. And another thing there was, how bad was that little bit of a hiccup on the stop in the box going to hurt Clay Cantrell? Looks like he makes it back out on the track successfully now. We'll look at the track map here. This should tell us just about everything we need to know. You see those 3 cars still in the pits, watching for who's going to win that race out. Justin Parham in the 8 machine just now leaving pit road, and you look back for Clay Cantrell. He's in 11th. He's coming roaring by now. These guys still have to get up to speed. And yeah, I think Cantrell may have made just a little bit too much of a mistake right there with the time that it took him on the pits. I think he is still going to get around the 9 machine here, potentially of Justin Parham. We got around Chase Greer, but nope, no dice. Not quite going to get as far as Justin Parham. Another part of that may have been that he had to take more fuel on this stop than these other guys did. And so the flip side of the strategy doesn't look like it's quite going to go the way of the 88, but certainly good effort, and he does still have some time to try to track these guys down the old-fashioned way in terms of just raw speed. We'll see if he can do it. Matthew Fritz going to make his final stop in the Manny Rays machine. And I think if you had to have a title driver for the Manny Rays sponsorship and what Manny Rays represents in general, this is your guy right here. I mean, probably one of the nicest guys you'll meet on the entire sim. Great teammate to have, great driver, gets wins in every series. And here he is in the NOMA Gen 6 series, trying to see if he can close it out with one here tonight. Jay Stinson brings it down to the pits. Another driver that was optimistic for this series. We see him in the Asphalt Outlaws Racing Truck Series as well. Loves doing a lot of league racing, and boy, it is showing. Las Vegas, one of his favorite tracks as well, and been putting in a good amount of work here tonight, and looking like it might pay off for the 31 if he can cap off a top 5. Meanwhile, back up front, it is Wiley Cantrell being scored as your leader here. He's up 2 in total from where he started, and again was involved on that first caution that we had just a few laps into this race here tonight. Bradley King back in 7th, in 2nd. Zach Stevens back in 3rd. Justin Parham 4th with Kenneth Redinger 5th, and Clay Cantrell in 6th. We are going to take one more break here tonight. We're going to go side by side so you don't miss a thing. Pit stops finishing up. Looking like it's going to be Justin Parham and Kenneth Redinger battling it out for the lead. We'll be right back in Vegas. front. Now we're going to see a little four-wide action.
Crazy out of the triangle.
Oh, he gets into the lead under Reckon.
3 by 3 entering 4.
3
He's
do.
blocked.
At the flag stand, side by side, it's going to be Jason Maines winning it at Talladega. Welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway, live in the last race for the NOMA Gen 6 Series Season 1. Out front right now is Wiley Cantrell, but not going to last for too much longer, and that's because we are still expecting a pit stop from the number 4 machine. Same deal for Bradley King and Zach Stevens. The real battle is going to be between the two teammates, at least as it's setting itself up right now. Justin Parham and Kenneth Redinger have been bumper to bumper now for quite some time, and I think it might stay like this till the finish, and we might see these two dueling it out for the final victory here for Season 1. And so Parham, who's been out in front longer, you got to wonder if he's been saving those tires or if Redinger has been pushing him hard enough to make him use those tires more than he would like to. And Redinger, who is back in 5th, Clay Cantrell, you got to give him applause for trying the strategy. It looked like it was going to work out initially, but unfortunately he is just too far behind the leaders, and the lap older tires, fortunately, he's just not going to start magically catching up to him. So if he gets caution, you never know, but as it stands right now, it looks like the 88's night is going to have to settle for, at best, potentially a 2nd or 3rd place finish. And with 14 laps to go, again, any lap here, you'll be expecting a pit stop from your top 3, which right now, Wiley Cantrell, who leads again, hats off for making his way back up here. Good recovery after being in that early wreck just a couple laps in. Since then, has picked up a couple spots overall throughout this race. Bradley King, who we talked about earlier, breakout race for him, currently sits in that 2nd spot, highest he has been all season here. If he could somehow find a way to round this thing out in the top 5 here tonight. He is currently up 8 from where he started. Zach Stevens back in 3rd, Justin Parham 4th, and Kenneth Redinger currently rounding out your top 5. Clay Cantrell back in 6th, Chase Greer 7th, Randy Bonomi in 8th, Matthew Fritz in 9th, and Jay Stinson rounding out your top 10. Back up front, well, I should say what's going to be the battle for the front. And honestly, the only battle that we really have going on track, we had a couple more teammates further back, at least earlier with Chase Greer and Randy Bonomi. Yeah, those two still within reaching distance of each other, and now Chase Greer getting ready to set up a move here on Clay Cantrell. And, I mean, Clay, not much he can really do here. Again, he's got older tires. He'll try to fend off the 8, but he's still going to have to try to do it for another 11.5 laps. There's just no way he's going to be able to make it happen, but jumps back up to the high side here. Greer is going to look to the bottom. Sure enough, he does. Cantrell was trying to take away his line, but just can't get the car to rotate enough to do so. He'll drag race down the Neal straightaway. Who gets the advantage into turn 3? Give it to Chase Greer. Pokes a nose out in front. Sliding up a little bit, though. Cantrell not going to go away too easy. He rolls the top and rolls it well. And he is actually going to get back clear of Chase Greer as they rocket down the front stretch. So with 11 laps to go, this will now pull Randy Bonomi right back into the mix. And how about the night that Randy Bonomi's had here? We see him in the Truck Series last season, of course, one of the Hickox Racing drivers. So you know that he's going to have a veteran presence anytime he's out here. And the run that he's had so far has been pretty good tonight. But he'd like to get maybe a couple more here before this thing's all said and done. And he's got a chance at a top 5 there, just about 100 yards in front of him. If he could find a way to get around Chase Greer and Clay Cantrell, but nothing doing yet as he's going to fade over the next couple corners, it looks like. Cantrell holds strong for now as we go back up to the two teammates battling, Parham and Redinger. And you got to ask yourself, how nice does Kenneth Redinger beat to his teammate here? Again, Redinger has already locked up the championship, and he's already got tied for, if not the most wins, or excuse me, he's got the most wins on the season with 4, so doesn't necessarily have anything specific to gain here tonight, except for the fact that he could add yet another win, add to the dominance and the storybook season he's had here in the Gen 6 cars. But does he try to maybe help his teammate here, cut him a little slack, see if he can help Justin Parham capture that first win in the last race here of season number 1. Take a quick ride on board here with Kenneth Redinger. You see just how tight things are starting to get, and each lap that goes by, making that pass is going to be harder to do so. We'll see if he waits till the last lap or if he tries to do things a little sooner. But again, as it stands right now, rolling in the tire tracks here of Justin Parham. There you see Joey Hickox making his way back out on track. Maybe just going to see if he can run the fastest lap. In fact, that's not a bad strategy call if that's what Joey Hickox is doing. And wonder if there's some extra points or team points on the line for that. And since he knows that there's probably not going to be another caution and 8 laps down, might as well get yourself out here on fresh tires. And he's going to catch this draft here, honestly, pretty quickly. We'll see if that's what he did. If he did, watch for Joey Hickox to put down an absolutely flying lap here. As, yeah, I mean, you hear this thing wide open through the entirety of the corner. This is going to be fun to watch here for Joey. We'll take a look at his lap time in just a moment. But as we go back up front to the 2 teammates, you wonder, too, does Joey end up somehow getting back up here and getting in the mix? You know, I mean, he's 2 down. If he gets back to 1 down, you never know. If we get a late caution, things could pan out for the 3, but I still think the strategy there for Joey was just pit, take some fresh tires, and run the fastest lap that you possibly can. And this should be that lap right here. Look at the closing rate on the 3 car here. He's probably screaming on the radio right now to Grant Turner, please get out of my line. I am on a heater, and I'm not going to check up here too easy as well. As closes up big time there on the 24. Redinger has to get out of the gas to make sure he doesn't get into the leaders. That'll cost him a little bit of time, but here we go, looking for Joey Hickox. Last lap was a 30.267, 29.8 for Joey Hickox. You compare that to what some of these leaders are running, I mean, it is not even close. In fact, 29.8 up to Justin Parham, who's at a 31.4. Shows you the distance there. New tires versus old tires. Joey with a little bit cleaner air, but no draft this lap. Again, maybe just looking for extra points right here. Yeah, we'll see what he gets. Looks like he's going to top out at a 29.8. Not able to do any better that time, and the tires aren't going to all of a sudden get any more grip from here. So now we turn our attention for the final 4 laps to SPINO Racing in a teammate versus teammate game. And, you know, we keep talking about Joey on the flip side of the team points battle. What if these guys get 1-2? Does that lock it up? I would certainly think it would have to. I mean, 2 cars getting 1-2 tonight with the dominance they've shown, led the most laps. That would be all they would need, but you still ask yourself, how bad does Kenneth Redinger want it, and how bad does Justin Parham want it? Does Parham think about maybe throwing a little bit of an egregious block on his teammate? Do they race it clean? What do they do? So we're getting ready to find out. 3 laps to go. Going to be 2 when they cross the stripe. And remember, if we can make it to that white flag, this race will be official, and there will not be another caution after that point. So right now, these 2, first thing is hoping that we can see this thing make it to the white flag so that they can race it amongst themselves. And then how does Kenneth Redinger set up the move? He's got probably about 1,000 different options by now with the amount of laps he's been following his teammate, just thinking about which lane he wants to try. You see he's still experimenting here as he rolls up to the top, and wow, that gets him a big run down the backstretch. That might be the move right there. What you just saw Kenneth Redinger try was that top line in 1 and 2. Worked really well. He was able to get some clean air on the nose and a lot of momentum down the straightaway. But here we go to decide it all. 1 lap to go. Who is going to win it in Sin City? Parham versus Redinger. Into turn number 1 for the final time. Looks like Parham's going to take the low line. Redinger will take the middle. He's going to try to pull a little bit of an arc, diamond it off the corner. He sets himself up with a little bit of a run here. Not enough, though, yet to get to the 9. Final gas into turn number 3. How much does he push the issue? Not much at all. Parham comes out on top after pit strategy, and he's going to capture his first win of the season at Las Vegas. Redinger brings home 2nd, and Clay Cantrell holds on for a podium. Nice clean race to end it. Your race winner takes home the win, and your season champion brings home second, making it a 1-2 for SPINO Racing. And that means we're getting ready to see a little bit of a double burnout. So before we get to that, let's take a quick look at what your finishing results are here for the night. We'll bring those up for you here in just a moment. But, man, I mean, what a race these guys had here tonight. No complaints. Nicely done from all drivers, and looks like Redinger's just going to park it. He'll let his teammate go celebrate by himself. Parham brings home the win for SPINO Racing. Kenneth Redinger brings home second. Clay Cantrell back in third. Chase Greer fourth. Matthew Fritz in fifth. Randy Bonomi sixth. Jay Stinson in seventh. Wiley Cantrell in eighth. Grant Turner ninth. Bradley King in 10th. Zach Stevens 11th. And Joey Hickox rounding out the field here tonight. He finishes in 12th. Trying to find a view where we can get both of these guys in the same camera shot. And there you go. Burning it down. I think Redinger was trying to see if he could maybe do a little bit of nose-to-nose action right there. But, I mean, what a dominant season for SPINO Racing in general. But Kenneth Redinger, been broadcasted for a couple seasons, make it 2 series now, and we have now seen him grab a championship in not only the Truck Series, but also in the Gen 6 Series. We are going to go grab your top 3 for interviews. Stick with us. We'll be right back at Las Vegas. Back live at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Going to start first here tonight with your third place finisher, Clay Cantrell. Clay, this is Austin the booth. Get a copy.
Got you, man.
Well, you bring home a podium tonight. Looked like you tried some strategy. Didn't quite work out, but you got to be happy with the third place finish.
Yeah, I'll be honest. It was an accidental strategy. I forgot to put fuel in the car on the first stop. Second time I've done that, and then I came out and I netted like 3 seconds on the field, and I was like, "Holy cow, this might actually work." It was probably going to play out. I think it was gonna work, and then that last stop, I was on old tires and just slid my box. It cost me about 2 seconds, and Parham and Redinger got out there, and you got to keep a draft here. It's so momentum based, and 2 cars can help each other. That 2 seconds got me out of the draft, so it kind of fell back, but overall had a good time. Still had a good run, and man, it's been a great season. Just thankful for these guys putting it on, and really had fun.
Yeah, well, you're certainly fun to watch. Kind of break it down for the people at home. You come into the season, you run a part-time schedule, and you still manage to bring home a pair of wins. You got to feel like it was a success all in all. Oh,
yeah, for sure. Definitely a good confidence booster, especially going into the season that's getting ready to come up with the trucks. So I think we're going to fare pretty well there.
Sounds like a plan. Well, before we let you go for the final time this season, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Just Jason and Joey. Just appreciate all they do for the league and the work they put in, and just glad that I can come be a part of it.
All right. Well,
and you, obviously, we appreciate you coming out and doing this, taking your time to put a little broadcast on. So that's something also we also appreciate. So
we certainly appreciate you talking to us as well. Congrats on the third place finish, and hopefully we'll see you out here next season if we got one.
Thanks, man.
All right, and now that is going to bring us tonight to your second place finisher, but the season champ, Kenneth Redinger. Kenneth, this is Austin the booth. Got a copy.
Yeah, I got you.
Well, I got to think maybe this is the happiest second place you can ever get, because ultimately you come home as a winner. You are the season champion. Man, what a season it was, too. 4 wins and a second place tonight to hopefully wrap up the team championship with your teammate getting a first. But, man, those last couple of laps were starting to get a little bit heated. Were you and Justin thinking about racing each other, or did you guys kind of coordinate it?
No, I told him, I said, don't even worry about pushing it too hard there. At the end, I was like, I'm not going to try to pass you. The goal was try to get away from Clay there, and I think we managed to do that pretty well because he was kind of like 2 seconds back, and I think you lose the draft about a second and a half. So once we pushed him out there, it was just wanted to try to bring it home 1-2, not make any mistakes, and get the team championship too.
Well, looks like you did all of that and more. But, this is now, I was just talking about before, the second series since I've been broadcasting that I've seen you capture a championship in. And when you start to show this level of dominance, you got to wonder, what comes next? Do we see another truck championship? Do we see you go over and take a super speedway championship? What do you got in mind?
Well, I already have a super speedway championship. But I guess the goal is just to get them a second championship in both of those series again. So this will be. I plan on this being my or being a full-time season this time. And last season I had to miss a few races each race or series, kind of kicked me out of the championship hunt.
Well, you've completed the trio. We'll see if you can start adding on to that total. We appreciate you talking to us tonight, but before we let you head out for the final time this season, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, it's just shout out to Jay and Joey for putting this on, giving us something to do. Wow, this seemed like a very long off season for the trucks and Super Speedway, so we're ready to go on that. And thank you to you for broadcasting. It's always fun to go back and watch this stuff.
All right. Well, congrats again on the second place finish and the season championship. We will see you in the Truck Series.
Awesome. Thank you.
And now that's going to bring us to your winner here on the night. First win of the season comes in the last race of the season, Justin Parham. Justin, this is Austin the Booth. Got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, we just heard from the season champ, but hey, you get your first win in the last race tonight, and it's a 1-2 finish with you and your teammate. Break us down the end of that race and how you decided on strategy there when the 88 was trying something a little different.
It was a good, strong race for us. We noticed on that first green flag pit stop that when 88 pitted, he had a huge lead, and it took us a long time to run him down. But we was getting close to him, so when he pitted, we pitted because we couldn't let him get that big of a lead again, and I'm assuming we just had a whole lot better entrance and exit out of pits. And we came away with a huge lead there, and then we just ran it out and held on to it.
We've seen a lot of speed from the 9 car pretty much all season, but man, it just seemed like every time something here and there would go wrong. And now that you picked off that first win in the series, how is this going to help you carry momentum forward going into the Truck and Super Speedway series?
Hopefully it'll carry on. I'm ready to get that started this coming weekend. Get going with that and hopefully come away with a few wins during the season on that one as well.
Sounds good. Well, hey, before we let you head out tonight for the final time, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Just the league for putting everything on, letting us get out here and race, especially during the off season of our other series that we run here in NOMA. So them throwing this one in there to kind of carry us over, I appreciate that, letting us run, and of course y'all for everything y'all do up in the booth.
We appreciate you talking to us. Congrats on the win, first of the season, but not the last one we'll see here by any means. Thanks again for talking to us, and we will see you in the trucks.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, that is just about going to wrap up our coverage here tonight at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. What a good one it was to round out the season, and man, can't wait for all the action that we've got coming up this Saturday. Be there for the, well, I guess I shouldn't say season opener, but some preseason action for the NOMA Truck Series as we open it up with the Clash at Daytona. As for the NOMA Gen 6 Series, not sure if it's coming back yet or not, but boy, it sure was fun while it lasted. Thank you to all the drivers that came out, and on behalf of NOMA, thank you to all the sponsors, Blue Ridge, Manny Rays, everybody else that I'm sure I'm missing in there, but can't make this happen without them, so certainly appreciate everything that they do for the series and the drivers, and thank you all so much for coming out and watching tonight. Final time here from the NOMA Gen 6 Series, and I'll be signing off, but I hope everyone did enjoy it. PGR coming up just after this. Make sure you head over and check that out, and until next time, have a good night.